Good evening, all.
Good
It is a great privilege for me, with my full Maharashtra State Chapter ISA team, Vice President Dr. Nete, President-elect Dr. Sade, my secretary who is always a fitness freak and now running for the state of Maharashtra State Chapter ISA, Dr. Avinash Bhosle, another enthusiastic fitness freak, now doing the job of treasurer for Maharashtra State, Dr. Samir Sohni, and our enthusiastic editor, Dr. Hemant Shinde. And we all together welcome you for this non-academic but very interesting topic, the topic which is very close to our heart, nutrition, exercise, and fitness. We know that nutrition is important for fitness. We are also aware that fitness and exercise is must for healthy life. But we have always many queries in our mind which never get solved properly and which keeps us away from our nutritious diet and proper exercise. How much exercise should I do every day? How do I get six-pack? Where do I start with my weight loss training? Do I need to work out every day? How much carb I should cut down from my diet? So on and so forth. To solve our queries, we have a team of dynamic doctors from Nagpur who belong to various specialties. We have our own anesthesia colleagues who are also fitness freaks. Dr. Sukhminder Singh Bajwa, Dr. Avinash Bhosle, and Dr. Sangeeta Deshpande. Our special invitee today, Dr. Jagannath Dikshit, who is very popular for his diet plan to reverse obesity and type 2 diabetes mellitus. We welcome you all for this great non-academic event. In fact, I would say it is the first non-academic event, the inaugural program for Maharashtra State Chapter ISA Fitness Anesthesia Program. I hand over the mic to Dr. Anita to welcome and to introduce our faculties.
Yes, thank you, Manisha Madam. And I welcome Dr. Imran, and I am very happy to introduce him. Dr. Imran is a consultant anesthesiologist and intensivist from Asian Critical Care Center, Nagpur, and he's a certified fitness and lifestyle modification advisor. He has done his MBBS from Savangi Wardha and MD Anesthesia from MGM Medical College, Navi Mumbai. He has got European Diploma in Intensive Care Medicine, Brussels. And friends, he has helped almost 3,000 people to achieve their fitness goals. And we are very happy to listen to you, Dr. Imran. I welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Anita ma'am, Dr. Manisha ma'am. And thanks team Maharashtra State for giving us this opportunity to meet everyone. Rather, I am so happy that I'm talking in front of my colleagues, all anesthesiologists, who knows what quantification means actually, because they with the drugs right and left in the operation theatre. The sleep also we try to calculate by milligram per kg of body weight, and my talk is going to revolve around calculations only most of the time. So I hope you will definitely enjoy this talk. Can I start?
Yes.
Abhijit, can we have a CV slide, please?
Abhijit,
can you display the CV slides?
Yes, I will display. Yes.
Okay.
Please display Dr. Imran's CV slide first.
Okay, I hope it's visible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
Next,
Forward this next slide.
Right. Next to please display the slide, CV slide of Dr. Amul Kadu.
Yes.
It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Amul Kadu, who is from Nagpur again. He has done his MS Orthopedic and he is a fellow of Royal Society of Orthopedic Surgery from Germany. He is fellow of hip replacement also from Switzerland he has done. He is presently working as consultant for orthopedic and hip replacement at Upacharya Hospital at Nagpur. His specialty is in knee replacement. He is a certified fitness consultant from Institute for Nutrition and Sports Fitness, also certified sport nutrition and strengthening consultant, that is International Sports Science Association. He is director and consultant at IAS Fitness Center. He is a cycling enthusiast and a cricket lover. Welcome Dr. Amul to this program by Maharashtra State Chapter of ISA. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Samir sir. And it's a privilege to be here and sharing this platform in front of these dignitaries. Thank you so much, Saurabh sir, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes, next slide, series slide, please. Dr. Bhore sir, series slide. Akhilesh.
Sir, I'm opening up. Please go ahead.
Yes,
Please
yes.
click
Anita,
Yes.
you
Yes. Dr. Sadashiv Bhore, a very jolly person. Consultant neurologist, endocrinologist, and robotic surgeon. He's a director of 7-Star Hospital, director of Ketki Nursing Home and Neurology Clinic. He's director of IS Fitness, a sports and nutrition company. Do you know what is IS? IS is Imran, Amul, and Sadashiv. This is IS Fitness company. Dr. Bhore has run more than 10 half marathon, including Mumbai Marathon, till year 2017. He's an avid sports enthusiast. He's interested in nutrition planning. He's a regular weight trainer and a very good aerobic workout enthusiast. Welcome, Dr. Sadashiv Bhore, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maharashtra State Chapter of ISA, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, sir, for making this happen. And I'm looking forward to a great meet today. Let's see if we can, dispel most of your myths today and also add to your knowledge about sports and nutrition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please show CV of Dr. Bajwa. Dr. Bajwa is professor and head of anesthesiology and intensive care in Gyan Sagar Medical College and Hospital at Patiala. I'm sure it must have been very difficult for Dr. Bajwa sir to add up his achievements in one slide CV PPT because he has so much academic achievements. He has 20 years of teaching, editing, and reviewing experience. He is governing council of ISA National from 2018 to 2021. He is national coordinator for ISA Fit Anaesthesia Campaign. He has 5 national awards, including KPR Best Young Anesthesiologist Award in the year 2022, Best Research Paper in Indian Journal of Urology 2013. He has written 8 book chapters. He has 400 plus national and international publications. And at the moment, he is Associate Editor-in-Chief of Indian Journal of Anesthesia and Journal of Anesthesiology and Clinical Pharmacology. Along with this, he has a great interest in sports fitness, and he is a regular runner for marathon, has run more than 2,500 kilometers in 2021 and almost 2,500 kilometers in 2020. His hobbies are cycling, gymming. He has run 5 half marathons and 1 level marathon in 2021, and he is a state level basketball player and a district level boxer. Welcome, Dr. Bajwa, sir.
Thank you, Manisha, man. You are so nice. It was, very difficult to actually. What I want to say here, we feel always pride and something great in putting our achievements in those things. Being the coordinator for the ISA national program of ISA Fit Anaesthesiologists, what I have observed in the last 2-3 years, this is not the right way actually. How we put our achievements, because our main aim is to motivate the people, and when the people see your achievement to such a large extent, actually they get demotivated. So what we have to see, this program is one of the best way regarding nutrition, the dietary plans and other things combining. That's the way to go about it, to motivate the people. Plus, what I say further, what I've learned from this life in the last 2-3 years in posting these things, that we should post those things when we are in trouble, when we are having difficulty, how to start, how to maintain, how to be disciplined. Rather than putting our all achievements, I think we should post all the challenges, how we cope up with those challenges when they were met for the first time, and how we continually improving ourselves in backdrop of all the difficulties. That's a way to motivate people, because 90% of the people they want to start the thing, but they get demotivated at the very early step. So we are going to design something new, how to motivate these people, and I think this is the right way to start. The Maharashtra state is always leading. I don't know how many awards you're going to win as a state chapter. This is another way of to start, the fitness program. And I love to be in the, this program, sports program, away from the academic. There's a heavy, the brain gets fatigued. I'm feeling so young today. And I think everybody is feeling young. Sony is smiling so much. I really love his smiling face. And I think it's the right way to go. And my best wishes. And you are the pioneer in starting such programs, and it will, create a great impression over entire India. Thank you very much for inviting me and, introducing me so liberally, Manisha Ma'am.
Thank you, Bajwa sir. Now, it's my proud privilege to introduce our enthusiastic secretary, honorary secretary of Maharashtra State Chapter of ISA, Dr. Avinash Bhosle. He has done his MD Anesthesiology, is present honorary secretary of MSCISA. He was past president. He received President Appreciation Award from IMS Maharashtra State for being the best president of IMS Satara. He has also received individual award for about anesthesia awareness at national and state level ISA. As Bajwa sir recently said, just now said that he is also a sports enthusiast, ran 10 Mumbai marathons in 2010. We also have our Satara half hill marathon, which is now world famous and was recorded in Guinness World Record. Avinash has done all the 9 Satara half hill marathon editions, 25 official half and 4 full marathon. He has also run in night marathon, 50-kilometer run. His personal best was 2 hours and 30 minutes for 2 hours for half marathon and 4 hours 40 minutes for full marathon in Mumbai. He has also participated in cyclothon, 50 and 100 kilometers. He is passionate trekker since college and covered most of the forts and places in Sahyadri. Not only in sports, he is also champion at college level for playing chess and playing all the sports in the events of held in the sports events and athletic events in his college days. He loves to do these workout at gym. He believes in all this is a mind game and listen to your body. Dr. Avinash Bhosle, our enthusiastic secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir, for this nice introduction.
Okay, Akhilesh, please display the slide, CV slide of Dr. Sangeeta Deshpande. I am very happy to introduce Dr. Sangeeta Deshpande, whom we know as our very enthusiastic honorary treasurer of MISA, past honorary treasurer. She is from Aurangabad, and though she is very efficient treasurer, she has all these other activities also, and her a lot of sports activities she is doing. A 10-kilometer runner, she is doing Lokmat marathon. She did in 2017. Then MIT Hill Marathon in 2019, then Singapore Marathon, Mumbai Marathon, and Chicago Virtual Marathon. So welcome, Sangeeta Madam. We are very inspired to see you starting in midlife and achieving all this, being able to run all these marathon at such an age. So a lot to learn from you, and I welcome you, ma'am. Avinash, I hand over the... Yes, Avinash.
Thank you, Anita. Now we welcome our today's guest, Dr. Jagannath Dikshit sir. Jagannath Dikshit sir, MD PSM,
Sir, you are muted.
Avinash, you are muted.
Hello.
हा बोल.
Yes, yes.
येतंय ऐकू, बोल आता.
I welcome Dr. Jagannath Dikshit sir, who is today's guest for this this program. Sir is MD PSM. He has done his PG diploma in hospital administration and also postgraduate diploma in human resources and management. He is chairman and an association for diabetes and obesity reversal Trust Pune. He initiated World Free of Obesity and Diabetes campaign in 2013. Lakhs of people from 41 countries are connected with this campaign. He had 3 national and 5 state level awards for efforts in public health education. He was invited by our honorary president, Dr. Narendra Modi ji, in December 2019 to deliver lectures for Prime Minister office staff and their family members, and also for the Member of Parliament. He had MUH's Best Teacher Award in 2015 and 16, 2 references book for medical student and 1 for nursing student and 20 for the lay person. He had 54 research papers published. He donated blood more than 50 times. He ran 9 half marathons since 2030. His lecture on YouTube are watched by millions of people. And most important, and what he is known for is, he is known for his famous Dikshit diet. Welcome, Dikshit sir. And I request you to inaugurate today's program virtually.
I request
Akhilesh,
Abhijit and Akhilesh.
Akhilesh. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Dikshit sir to say that this program is inaugurated and have 2 words of wisdom. Dikshit sir, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Avinash,
Okay, sir.
for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this great event. I declare that this fitness campaign is officially inaugurated. I am very happy to see that Indian Society for Anesthesiologists have initiated this Fit Anaesthesiologist Campaign, which is the need of the hour. If you look at the data, it tells us that the average life expectancy of doctors is lesser than other people. And the cause is, of course, the tensions and all that we do for others, we work for others, but we don't have time to look at ourselves. So as it is rightly said, Dr. Bhosle sent me a message in which it said that the anesthesiologist gives fitness certificate to the patients, but he has to someday look into the mirror and ask himself or herself whether I am fit or not. So in that context, this particular campaign will be definitely beneficial to all the doctors, not only anesthesiologists, but I am sure other associations would also take the spirit from this organization, and we will be able to start this campaign for different associations. It may be physicians, surgeons, or what. So that's a very good idea. I'm very happy to meet Dr. Imran Nur Mohammed, Dr. Sadashiv, Dr. Amul Kadu, this the IS fitness organization that they have established, and also Dr. Bajwa, Dr. Bhosle, and Dr. Sangeeta Deshpande, all of them. As you know, that I am into a fitness campaign where we deal with obesity and diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Of course, this is a campaign for masses. This is a campaign for people, of course, not for people who want to develop six packs and they want to become maybe Satara Shri or Maharashtra Shri. But it's a campaign for ordinary individuals, masses, who want to be fit and who want to be away from diabetes. So we propagate a simple lifestyle modification in which we suggest to eat only twice in a day and walk 4.5 kilometers in 45 minutes. That is what an ordinary man can easily do. And that is how the campaign goes. That is the USP of this campaign, that this lifestyle is free of cost. It doesn't require any doctor or expert, doesn't require any equipment, doesn't require any nutritional supplement from the market. And most importantly, one can follow it happily throughout the life. So these are certain things that make it a lifestyle and not a diet. And that's why this has become popular in lakhs of people in the world. And I'm sure that many of you must be also following this lifestyle. So I will not take much time, but only I will give one support from my side, that if you are watching this program and if you are either obese or you are type 2 diabetic, you may be a doctor or a non-doctor, because there are many non-doctors also must have joined on YouTube. So I will be sharing some numbers in the chat box. They are the coordinators of my campaign, and you can contact them on WhatsApp, and they will be definitely happy to help you for your obesity as well as diabetes. And I told Dr. Bhosle that I will be continuing, I will be listening to all the lectures. And if at all there are some questions which are directed to me afterwards, because what happens is in fitness and lifestyle, nobody's word is the final word. And there are different ways of life and different things that are propagated by different people. And that's a good idea. So there is anyway, so ultimate aim is that the person should be fit. And how you become fit, that it can be in a different way for a different people. So we respect, as a person, I respect all those walks of life which make you fit. And of course, there is one way that I promote. There can be other ways also which can make people fit. So I respect all of them. And if there are questions which are directed to me, I will be happy to answer at the end of this session. So thank you very much, Dr. Bhosle and all the team, for making me part of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dikshit sir. And thank you for being there throughout the program. I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of questions for you. And the Dikshit diet is become so ubiquitous, and I'm sure there'll be many people in attending today's program who are following your diet. And thank you very much, sir. And now I request Dr. Imran. I welcome him and I request him to please start with his lecture. Dr. Imran, sir.
Yeah, so very good evening. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, audible and screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So let's see what lifestyle modification. Basically, it's a collaborative effort between physician-led healthcare professionals and the patient with the aim to have some realistic goal. Without having realistic goal, your fitness journey is not going to be there what exactly it should be like. So it involves lifestyle modification involves altering long-term habits, typically eating or physical activity, and maintaining the new behavior for lifetime. As Dr. Dikshit has rightly said, what he is doing for the common people and mass is guiding them to become fit, to remain diabetic free, and a behavior which can be sustained for longest possible period of time. That is called as lifestyle modification, and it's not just for 1 month, 2 months, or a year or so. But what happens? Why most of the diet fails in the absence of lifestyle modification? So what is the missing link? What data shows that almost 80% of the patient regains lost weight after 3 years. Long-term dieting comes with many negative psychological issues and self-image disorder. Development of relationship with particular diet and food. Like many people promote only ketogenic diet. Many people promote high carbohydrate diet. Many people promote only low-fat diet. Many people promote kind of water diet, fruit diet, GM diet. So they have given particularly name to the diets, and a person who got some benefit out of that, it becomes their ritual to promote that particular diet only. So what all this thing leads to yo-yoing phenomenon. Yo-yoing is a very dangerous phenomenon. I'll explain you in the slides ahead. That is why. And there are various triggers for weight loss also. Like, most of the people, most of the patients or clients, they want to lose weight to look good for short time. Like if people come to us like, hey, after 2 months, I have a marriage or I have a ceremony to attend and I want to lose 10 kgs or X number or Y number of kgs. So this is absolutely a wrong approach. So initial weight loss and regain, that is called as yo-yoing. So for that, we have to understand how our body are composed. So body composition, our body is consisted of water. 60% of our weight is water. Then lean mass. Lean mass has like your bones, your muscles, skeletal muscles, your organs, and the remaining part is adipose tissues. So adipose tissues there in the under the skin, that is called the subcutaneous, that is the visible fat, and a fat which is around the abdominal organs and thoracic organs are called as visceral fat. So the long-term success depends upon what and how much you have lost. So a person, imagine, who is doing only GM diet, that is a fruit diet. So he is already eating a lot of fruits and losing a lot of water. I want to say, like ultimately when you create a calorie deficit, when you don't eat a proper food, your body start losing water and you get to see the result immediately on the weighing scale. Like you lose 1 kg a day. So that is mostly a water loss. If you are doing a diet and if you are training properly, that if you are not lifting weights, so you are very likely to lose your skeletal muscle mass and along with the fat. So let's see, as a general rule, one loses 1 pound of lean mass with every pound of fat mass under the normal condition. During weight loss, if you are losing 4 pound of fat, then you are likely to lose 1 pound of lean muscle mass also. And that loss of lean mass, that is the loss of that muscle mass, leads to lowering of your basal metabolic rate and overall energy expenditure, and that is called as metabolic adaptations. This is a very interesting slide. Body's defensive mechanism. Our body is evolved, or this is the evolutionary gift to the mankind, that body doesn't want to lose fat basically. With every pound of weight loss, body becomes more and more efficient to store future incoming calories in the form of fat only. Though fat cell reduces in size initially, the number of the fat cells keeps growing for the future storage. And once you lose weight and once you start eating again, or once you go off the diet, you bounce back in a double way. Like you end up being what you were before the diet. Like you always gain 2 or 3 extra kg of fat. But the lean mass which has lost during the first episode of the diet, that doesn't come back unless you are lifting weights or unless you are stimulating your skeletal muscles by doing resistance exercises or by doing any kind of exercises. Weight regain leads to more and more fat storage, becomes difficult and takes more time than before. So this is a vicious cycle, starting the diet, then losing weight, then again putting on back, then again starting the diet. So this is a main cause that most of the diet fails. So what should be the right approach? This is the slide where a number one person at the 1 number had started his diet. So see his fat and lean muscle mass in the brown and fat in the yellow. Now he has, say after 3 or 4 months, he has lost some weight. So he has lost the size of the adipose cells as well as the size of his muscle mass. But when he again started eating and stopped exercising, see what happens next. His lean mass is still less, but he has gained all the fat back, rather more than before. So this is something which is a trouble during a successful fat loss journey. So actual problem what we are facing here is there is no regulation of health and fitness industry. If anyone can give any guidelines, dietary guidelines, same for years. Even the government and scientists, they have not changed the dietary guidelines because they have given a generalized guideline for each and every person. But as Dr. Dikshit sir has rightly said, Every individual requirement is different, and you have to work on each and every individual. Same diet template from all the dietitians. People start sharing one diet chart they take it from the other. A friend whose diet chart say with 1500 calories, that will be, everybody will start doing that only. Unquantified diet. People are not understanding, like losing weight is an art, losing weight is a science, losing fat is a science. You need to control your calories, rather you need to count your calories. The role of social media has also been one of the reason, like social media has given the biggest damage. Like they start selling any kind of fat supplements, fat burners and all, and people go for that easy way without having the knowledge about the nutrition. So science-based diet and exercise and detoxes, fat burners and essential oils. So this is where social media plays a role. This slide is taken from the Dr. Spencer Nadolsky. He is again an obesity physician in America. So goals of the lifestyle modification should be, number one, realistic. So what is the ideal weight loss? Rate of weight loss, aggressive or slow? See, this is a very big science. Like it's 20 minutes is too less to give you all the details, but the rate of weight loss should not be very aggressive to start with. If you are obese, maximum one safely can lose 1% of your body weight per week. Say if you are 100 kg to start with, you should not lose more than 1 kg of fat a day. Or if you are leaner, or if you are not very obese, so it is better to target 0.5% of your weight per week. So with this approach, you are less likely to lose lean muscle mass and more likely to lose only fat mass. You have to take a current dietary history and quantification of macronutrients, like at what calorie the person is eating right now and at what calorie he needs to get his fat loss started. His cardiovascular fitness, his musculoskeletal fitness, social and cultural history to prescribe the diet close to it. Type of diets, there are various type of diets: low carbohydrate, high carbohydrate, moderate carbohydrate, ketogenic. But remember, all this diet works in a principle of creating energy balance. Like if you are eating less, then you are likely to lose more stored fat. Okay, so all diet works with the principle of calorie deficit only. Then there should always be a diet breaks and behavior modifications also for long-term success. Like patient should not, this is not recommended to be in a calorie deficit continuously more than 12 weeks. So after 12 weeks of strict diet, you can go little easy and relax, and then you can restart again after maintaining for some time. So diet is the most misunderstood word. It is basically the sum of food consumed by a person or any organism. And what is quantified diet? It is a strategic and organized way of eating food for optimal body composition. So what is obesity? It is one of the leading preventable cause of death worldwide. BMI, that is weight divided by height meter square. If it is 25 to 30, it comes in a category of overweight. And if it is more than 30, it is obesity. But in Indian scenario where we have more of the lean obese patient, because Indians are protein deficient, most of the people do not exercise, so they have lean obesity. So it is BMI, if it is more than 23, then it comes in the category of overweight. And lean obesity is a person with BMI in a normal range. Suppose if your BMI is 20, but if your body fat is above the recommended level, like more than 25% in male and 32% in female, then also you comes in the category of lean obesity. That's why we are seeing so many people in our country who develops insulin resistance and type diabetes, even with the normal BMI. So the reason being, they have a very less muscle mass and more of adipose tissue. So overall, their body fat percentage is high. You can see the example here, both the sides, a person of same age, same gender, and same weight, but see their body composition. A number one person who is obese, who has abdominal obesity, he is insulin resistant. And a person who has a body fat percentage of around 15%, visually, he is more insulin sensitive. So even though their BMI might be comes in a category of overweight, but definitely a person who is on the right side of the screen, who is a lean, he is definitely having a very less chances of developing many diseases. Same here, a 155 lbs lady, and right again 155 lbs. But she lost around 7% of body fat and she had gained some amount of muscle mass. And definitely she has reduced her risk which is supported by many papers. Like there is a original research that is association between adiposity and lean mass with long-term cardiovascular event in patient with coronary artery disease. So here what they say, like your body fat percentage is correlated closely with having coronary artery disease and other kind of diseases of the heart, like systemic hypertension and all. So BMI again is not a very much short way to see whether you are obese or whether you are insulin resistant or whether you are insulin sensitive. You have to calculate your body fat percentage also. This is the latest study in the JAMA, like this largest cohort study. Dikshit sir must be aware, he's a PSM person, and he's also again into the studies. There's a very large group of patients. They have evaluated around 46,000 patients of COVID who had required mechanical ventilation, who developed ARDS. They were found to have the conclusion what they have seen, that almost a person who has landed up in ICU with all the kind of complications with increased mortality had either pre-diabetes or diabetes, hypertension, and dyslipidemia. And so we can see, like, being fit, remaining fit is so much necessity nowadays to beat this kind of unwanted pandemics. So how to assess ourselves? What we do, usually we check our weight on the weighing scale, which is shown on the screen. So let's see what it shows. It shows your water, it shows your lean mass and your fat mass, but doesn't give the percentage of it. It calculates your weight. So weight comprises of water, fat, and lean muscle mass. So what is the best way to see the body fat percentage? There are many tools available in the form of simple caliper by doing anthropometry, skin fold thickness, where there are many calculators available online. You can log into that and you can put your weight, height, and this inches. Another, the gold standard is DEXA scan, where it definitely gives you the amount of fat you are carrying and the amount of bones and the amount of muscles. And then the highest is the CT, MRI, USG, which is not possible to do for the patient population. It is mostly for the research purposes. But what we do at our center is we measure everyone by caliper as well as measuring tape. So what is the cause of excess fat? Excess fat, basically, obesity, the cause of obesity, first is energy balance, hormonal influences, body phenotypes, and genetic and rare inherited disorder. 90% of the time, it is because of excess energy, excess eating, excess calorie intake over the period of long time, which leads to deposition of fat and being obese. Hormonal influences, a patient with hyperinsulinemia, hypercortisolism, and all. Body phenotype hardly plays a role, but theoretically they have categorized into ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. We'll come into some other session. And there are very genetic and rare and genetic disorder, which we are not going to discuss here. See what data shows. 77% of the urban Indian population would prefer tasty food. This is a guideline of what food industry says or what normal people should have adequate protein in their diet. But 77%.
Imran, you got muted.
Just a second.
No, I can hear it. Yeah.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Imran sir, we can hear you.
Okay.
Please continue.
Yeah.
Please continue, sir. Everyone is listening. Everyone.
Okay. So 77% of.
Now you are muted.
Now you got muted, sir. You are muted, sir.
Now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you, sir, now. Yeah.
Okay. So the main problem here is Indians prefer a tasty food. Again, taste comes with only fat and a high calorie density food.
Again, you are muted, sir.
No, I'm.
Yeah. No.
Yes, your voice is visible, sir. He is changing the slide, Bhosle, sir. त्याच्यामुळे आवाज येत नाही.
He is not talking now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So 80% of the Indians are protein deficient according to the World Health Organization. Ideally, each and every Indian, by population study wise or epidemiologically, they should eat around 0.8 gram to 1 gram per kg body weight of protein. So it comes to around 60 to 90 grams. But you will be surprised to see, if you go to their food like only dal, chawal, roti wala diet and sabjis and all that, they hardly get 10 to 30 grams. This is the average intake of the protein in Indian population. Hormonal influences, Dr. Dikshit sir it's already has promoted so much about insulin and cortisol. So it plays a major role in calorie partitioning. Like early morning, we know that our cortisol level is high and our insulin sensitivity is lowest. So whatever carbohydrate or major amount of carbohydrate, if you are eating in your morning meals if you are not exercising, if you are not strength training, so the majority of that carbohydrate calories will be shuttling into your adipose cells under the influence of insulin and cortisol. So that is why there was a concept of carb backloading, that is a carbohydrate taken around or after the strength training session, where you have depleted your muscles from of a glycogen storage and having your carbohydrate in the later half of the day, like after 5 p.m. or so, when your insulin sensitivity increases radically over the skeletal muscle, where most of the carbohydrate gets shuttled and deposited as a glycogen inside your muscle cells. And these are all the things which can be very much modulated if you are training properly. So there is always a collaboration between diet and proper training, where you have to deplete your muscle glycogen storage so that there is an empty space for an incoming carbohydrate to get deposited as a muscle glycogen. This is a very simple concept, that how the law of thermodynamics, how it works: maintenance calories, surplus calories, and calorie deficit. If your intake and output is matching, for example, if you are taking 2000 calories and if you are spending 2000 calories, then you are likely to maintain your weight. If you are eating 2400 calories and if you are spending 200 calories, you are likely to gain weight. If you are eating low calorie and spending more, you are likely to lose weight. This is what law of thermodynamics says. So what is the ideal diet? There is nothing called as ideal diet. All diet depends upon the person's goal, their phenotype, their age, their morbidities, and many other factors. Even Harrison 21st edition says that individualization of the macronutrient is a key. Like what people say is like high protein diets are harmful or high fat diets are harmful. Harrison has given clearly that there is no recommendation of exact amount of protein or exact amount of fat. It has to be optimized as per the patient or as per their other parameters. So let's talk about macronutrients. Protein is a very essential macronutrient, essential amino acids. The dose is recommended daily allowance is 0.8 or 1 to 1.2 gram per kg. Role of protein in the body is immense. It has got hormonal functions. Most of the hormones are derived from protein. Your wear and tear, your skeletal muscle mass, your bone mass, your skin, hair, nails, everything requires protein for to grow. And there is a big role of protein for building up your immunity and maintaining your lean muscle mass. And 1 gram of the protein provides 4 calories. But with weight training and calorie deficit, suppose if you want to lose weight, now you have to cut down your calories. But at the same time, with the calorie deficit, you have to increase your protein intake to 1.5 to 2 gram per kg. If you are into the resistance training, if you are lifting, if you are going to gym, and there is a substantial evidence support to increase the high consumption of quality protein. This paper is from the a big scientist from America, Stuart Phillips. He says that higher protein intake may help prevent age-related sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass, the strength that predisposes older adult to frailty, disability, and loss of autonomy. Higher protein diet also improves satiety and lead to greater reduction in the fat and fat mass compared with the standard protein or low protein diet. An athlete who can benefit from high protein intake to maximize athletic performance, given the critical role of protein in stimulating the muscle protein synthesis and muscle protein remodeling. Current evidence indicate intake in the range of at least 1.2 to 1.6 gram per kg of high quality protein, that is class 1 protein, for more optimal health. So we should eat protein. We should not fear of the protein. If your kidneys are functioning well, if you are not a patient of renal disease, you should always give priority to eating more and more amount of protein. Definitely, it has to be calculated. It has to be fixed in your calorie goal. These are the non-vegetarian source of protein and vegetarian source of protein, which everybody knows. Now, the most important, another most essential nutrient is dietary fat, which is again very demonized at a large scale. What people think that fat leads to heart diseases. No, simple fat does not lead to heart diseases. It is excess calorie. It is excess amount of carbohydrate along with excess amount of fat, inactivity. But with regular diet, it should have a decent amount of fat. It is essential macronutrient for hormonal and cellular function. In males, if you are not eating fat, you are going to lose all your testosterone hormones. For females, estrogens. It is a body's alternative source of energy. Like body's most preferred source of energy is carbohydrate, but with low intensity exercises and for oxidative metabolism, most of the time body thrives only on the fat. For females, female burns more fat. Not burn, female prefer more fat as a fuel because of their type 1 type of muscle fiber. Females have more of a type 1 or white fiber, and it prefers fat as a source, which science says. And the recommended dose is 0.5 to 1 gram per kg of body weight. Minimum 40 to 50 grams of fat should be there in your diet for optimal hormonal functions. Carbohydrates, it's a non-essential macronutrient. We use 4 kilocalorie per gram. No fixed recommended allowance given. Primary source of energy. Good source of fibers and micronutrient. See, though it is non-essential, but we cannot ignore carbohydrate in our diet, because carbohydrate, it is a source. Carbohydrate is a macronutrient which gives us the micronutrient. It gives us the fiber also. But if you know the art of calculating or counting your carbohydrate, at what level of carbohydrate you can easily maintain your blood sugars level. So that should be your intake. I'll show you how to calculate the carbs in next few slides. Alcohol, it is again a fourth macronutrient, non-essential. It has a calories equivalent to fat, that is 7 calorie per gram. For someone, it can be a part of lifestyle, can be a part of structured diet if planned smartly. We don't promote alcohol, but there are many patients who just don't want to give up. So we ask them to calculate the calorie from the alcohol and mix it in their diet. But nowadays, like, people don't stick to the recommended amount. They go on binging and binging. This is a very important slide. Number one, this is a strength nutrition pyramid, where the base of the pyramid basically dictated by your behavior and lifestyle. So you should first change your behavior and lifestyle, followed by energy balance. Like, you should know what amount of energy is required for you to maintain weight, what amount is required for you to lose weight. Then comes the macronutrient, like deciding carbohydrate, proteins, and fat. Then micronutrients, then nutrient timing, and then all kind of supplements. So if you are able to follow energy balance, you are very much likely to kickstart your fat loss journey and fitness journey. 70% is your BMR, basal metabolic rate, energy expenditure. Only exercise contributes 5%, and non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that is called as NEAT, that is unintentional exercises, that contributes 15% of your total daily energy expenditure. And the thermic effect of food contributes to 10%. Thus, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. If you are eating high protein diets, if you are eating adequate protein, you are likely to burn 10% extra calories, because body expend calories to digest that macronutrient, and it comes to a booking amount of 10%. How to set up a diet? You have to first find your maintenance calories. It needs 3 weeks of food tracking, basically. Or there is simple way: your weight in kilogram multiplied by 22, multiplied by your activity factor. So this is a rough estimate. So how to see your activity factor? See, if you are sedentary, that is, if you are hitting less than 8,000 steps per day, along with 3 to 6 days of training, then activity factor will be 1.3 to 6. Lightly active is 8 to 10,000 step. Very active is 15,000 plus step, and active is 10 to 15,000. So, for example, a person is 92 kg. you need to put 22 calorie into 92. It comes to around 2024. Now, if you are a sedentary, that fits in the category of sedentary or active, then you have to multiply it by that activity factor. So this is your roughly the end result is roughly your maintenance calorie. Now, from this maintenance calorie, you have to create a calorie deficit of 15 to 20%, so that your body will now take that calorie from your stored fat, and that is how you will start losing fat. So why quantification is needed? Weighing food on kitchen scale before cooking gives you the little room for error in energy balance equation. Like you know that how much rice, suppose if I'm giving you 1 katori of rice, so for you a size of katori will be different, for me a size of katori will be different. But what if I give you 50 grams of raw rice? Now you measure that raw rice on a digital kitchen scale and you make it. How much amount of water and all you are using, but the calorie is going to be the same if you are measuring it in a raw manner. It makes one discipline. We get the idea of exact visual quantification when needed. So if you are trained in measuring food or quantifying food, and then it becomes your habit. Later on, after 2-3 months, you actually visually quantify. Even if you are socializing, if you are eating outside, you pick up that much amount of food which your eyes has been trained. And you should always develop a habit of seeing food log and nutritional label to get all the kind of ideas. So to summarize, behavior change should be the goal for long-term success. Sustainability for long-term adherence. Dietary technique like intermittent fasting or other kind of diet you should do if it fits in your lifestyle. But remember, calorie balance is a key for fat loss or fat gain. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imran sir, for such a nice lecture, and great to know about how to quantify your food in day-to-day life. I think we will take the questions at the end of the session. It is going to be a great interactive session, I'm very sure. So we will discuss all the questions in the after we finish all the 3 lectures.
Sure.
Before we proceed to the next lecture, may I welcome Dr. Anjali Bhure, our Vice President of National ISA from Nagpur. Dr. Anjali Bhure, Madam.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you.
Thanks for joining this session. We are very happy to see you on the platform.
Thanks a lot. Same here.
Dr. Samir, sir?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Imran, for this starting the session so nicely and in a scientific way. So now we will move ahead with our next lecture by Dr. Amul, Dr. Bhole sir, about the roles and types of physical activities for longevity. Dr. Sadashiv, Bhole sir, please.
So
Hello, everyone.
Topic is different.
My topic is different. My topic is about myths, and we are about fitness and exercise. And this is going to be a myth-buster section. And Amul is going to basically take.
Just थोड़ा उल्टा-पुल्टा हो गया.
कोई बात नहीं.
Okay, sir.
I'll share my screen. Let me know.
Please.
Can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, your screen is visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Just put it into PowerPoint mode.
Yes.
Possible.
Just 1 second, please. Can you see the slides now?
Yes, slides are visible, sir. On the bottom side, there is a PowerPoint mode. Just put it over. Yeah. Besides that, sir, one more.
Right.
Last one.
Thank you. Can you see them now?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So the basic thing which I would take from Imran that he's added is that of all the lectures, the most important aspect which he has stressed is that we have to be protein smart. Protein deficiency is one of the commonest leading factor which is leading Indians to develop metabolic syndrome, diabetes, and lifestyle disease. Activity also plays an important role. But if you see the chart he was showing, it was the activity of the exercise part contributes only 10%. So remember this, that not exercising is not an excuse of not being smart in your diet. So if you are smart in your diet and if you are using meat and if you're using the correct food, then exercise is only 10 to 15%. Now, fitness industry runs on fixed ideas. That is what we call as bro science. somebody tells you that this is good, ये उपास का चकली है, इसमें calories कम है. And can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, sir, now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, many of the things which are passed on to us by our friends, by our gym trainers, by our colleagues may not be what science actually is. And these are basically half-baked concepts. So we are here to look into certain very common things which we face on day-to-day basis, and certain very common kind of guidelines which we get from our social media or our friends, which is not actually science. So this is basically a myth-based. The first myth that is there is fat is bad. Now, fat was always blamed for obesity, and one of the reasons which is cited is a multi-billion-dollar food industry which thrived since the 1970s, demonizing fat. And that is something which is not very scientific. And fat restricted diets may give you benefits to some extent because there is calorie restrictions. But now you must know that the recommendations have changed. As Imran rightly said, around 30 to 40 grams of fat is needed in our daily diet. In fact, 10 to 15% of calories should come from fat. And it is important for metabolic reaction. Dietary fats are not deposited directly. And as you must have heard that estrogen and testosterone, two most important hormones which are related to our physique, our lean muscle mass in males and females, are basically fat derived. So the unsaturated fat, that is polyunsaturated fat or monounsaturated fat, which we call as pula or muna, are basically derived from fat sources, good fat sources like nuts and seeds, vegetable sources, and fish also is a very good source of good healthy fat. We have to limit certain saturated fat because still there is some evidence that it increases the cardiovascular diseases. But definitely we should definitely try to avoid the trans fat. Now, the trans fat is something which we usually encounter when we eat anything which is deeply fried. Suppose, for example, samosa in groundnut oil. Now, if you know that the oils which are used in our food are basically made shelf healthy or shelf happy by a process called hydrogenation. Now, hydrogenation, what happens is releases trans fat into those oils. And if this particular oil is used for deep frying, particularly for frying once or twice, if you go and eat a samosa, that oil is always there burning, and they will take out series and different types of, series of samosas out of that particular boiling oil. So this is one of the most dangerous fat that a person can have. And whenever you buy any oil, you should always read the label and also see the level of trans fat which are there in that oil. The old days, we used to have the cold pressed oil, and this cold pressed oil is considered as the best source of oil if at all we have to consume it. Now, the second myth is that whenever we talk about fat loss and whenever we talk about losing weight, the first thing that comes to a person's mind is I have to run, you have to jog, you have to walk, you have to climb stairs, or, aerobic exercise has been at the forefront. And most of the studies which are into the journals of physiology and fitness physiology and nutrition are basically aerobic exercise. But every fat loss journey may not or need not start with cardio. Cardio basically creates a calorie deficit. It is good for the heart. That is why it is called cardio. It's an aerobic kind of exercise. It is healthy for the heart. But you need not run 42 kilometers just for a heart. In fact, it has been found that certain changes in the cardiac muscle, particularly hypertrophic heart disease, and some calcification has been noted in the major vessels of long-term marathon runners. This kind of cardio puts extreme stress on the cardiovascular system. That does not mean that you cannot have cardio, but you must define your limits and you must do as much as you enjoy. But if you ask me scientifically, is cardio necessary for weight loss? The answer is no. The weight training is much better when it comes to fat loss, because the burning calories during and long time after workout also helps you. Basically, the most important aspect of our bodies when it comes to weight loss is muscle. Muscle is the most important, most coveted tissue. And if we do too much cardio, we end up with losing muscle. As you know that we lose 1 pound of muscle with 4 pounds of fat. Extreme cardio will accelerate that process. And if we don't manage our diet in that particular sense, and we don't take adequate protein or fats or adequate carbohydrates, then ultimately we will end up losing weight and the yo-yoing phenomena, because once you start taking care of your diet or stop doing so much of cardio, a person will ultimately put back his weight. So weight training is also a good option, and cardio is not the only thing for weight loss. In fact, if you want to have weight loss, as stated by my previous speaker, you must take into account the calories consumed. That is a very smart. If you take 1 plate of samosa, it costs you around 300-350 calories. Now imagine the amount of cardio you have to do for burning 350 calories. It's a lot. So be smart when consuming food, and also always pay attention. There is more than cardio to weight loss. Now, whenever a person goes to gym, it is always said that you should eat half an hour, 1 hour before gym. That will power your session. But that is not for beginners. That is for established athletes. That is for people who know what to eat before going to the gym. That is for power athletes. That is for putting on more workout and more work in the gym session. What happens basically for beginners, this will forfeit the purpose of fat loss. A fasted state workout boosts natural fat loss process, because the glycogen depletion in the muscles is rapid, because it is done on a fasted state, and that will basically trigger fat loss program. However, on the other end of the scale, if you are a person who wants to put on muscle mass, there might be some people who are thin and asthenic in our audience who want to put on muscle mass, then eating before a gym is a good idea. But if you are planning on losing weight, no, fasting state is a better state. This is again one of the most important. Do you know that when human civilization began, a human species used to eat once in 2 or 3 days? It was like a species, like we used to hunt, and whenever basically we began as carnivores. Farming came later in civilization, about 5,000, 6,000 years before farming came. And actually it started in India. Farming started in India, not in Persia or Iran, as it is actually believed. That's a different presentation altogether. But initially we started with eating once in 2 days or 3 days whenever you used to hunt. Later on, then there was a concept of 1 meal a day. So throughout the day, a person used to work, at evening used to go back home, eat something and sleep. Then the Britishers came and they ruined everything. They started with breakfast, then lunch, then snack, then supper, then dinner, and all these things. So breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. In fact, if you're planning a fat loss journey, breakfast, if you can avoid it, is better. The relationship of cortisol is very important. Cortisol is our hormone which basically controls the damage. It also helps in building up the tissues and basically repairing of the tissues. The moment breakfast is taken, insulin is secreted, and insulin and cortisol will help deposit this particular component or this particular calories and convert them to adipose tissues. So it's a good idea to take a meal, first meal, which contains calories, which contains carbohydrates, a little late. However, if you're addicted to breakfast, or if your lifestyle is such that you cannot leave breakfast, then the breakfast should be very low on carbohydrates, good on fats, and very high in proteins. Now again, this was one myth. So eat once a day, eat only twice a day, eat small frequent meals. These are all not, this might be inculcated in your lifestyle if you like it, but this is not scientific. What matters at the end of the day is the amount of calories you consume. Eat small frequent meals was a Western concept which said that if you don't eat or if you remain hungry, then the basal metabolic rate will go down. And you must understand that basal metabolic rate contributes to 70% of energy expenditure. However, the current studies claim that fasting does not reduce resting metabolic rate or basal metabolic rate, what it was believed. पहिलेची जी समजूत होती की बेसल मेटाबॉलिक रेट एकदम कमी होऊन जाईल आपण एक दिवस भूक राहिलो, that is wrong. What is now seen is at the end of the day, how much calories you consume, what are the macronutrient ratio, how much proteins you're consuming, fats you're consuming, and carbohydrate consuming will ultimately be a balance sheet. It's like a balance sheet which is CA basically gives us at the end of the year. If you have small frequent meals and you are sitting in that calorie range, suppose if your calorie range is 1800 calories, and you are basically completing your 1800 calories by taking small frequent meals, then it is fine. But if you want to take 1800 calories in 2 meals, I say 900, that is also fine. So it is not exactly important to eat small frequent meals. There is also one study which was done in 2 groups of rats. One was kept on fasting and the other was kept on small frequent meals. And the oxidant damage was much more when the food consumed was more and when the food consumed was done many times. You must also understand that every time we think about food, or every time we plan to eat food, or every time we consume food, insulin is secreted from the pancreas. So we don't want this insulin to be secreted too much time. Insulin is an anabolic hormone. Insulin secretion also, too much of insulin secretion also adds to insulin resistance. So it is important that we look into this, and whatever suits your lifestyle should be done. In fact, we usually propagate and usually tell our clients that eating twice or thrice is adequate, more than adequate. So mostly we say that if it fits your lifestyle, skipping a breakfast, taking a brunch at somewhere between 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and taking another meal at dinner, and some low calorie snack in between is something which you should plan for if you plan to basically lose weight. Now, running is an endurance. I was listening to all the CVs, and I also looked at Dr. Avinash Bhosle's profile, and we have so many, Dr. Deshpande, madam, we have so many runners in our midst. Running is very addictive. It's an endurance sport. I am addicted to running. In fact, I had to stop running because of certain things, but it was a very difficult decision which I took, and I took 2 weights. But we cannot use it only as a tool for weight loss, because without proper training, if you're not training 5 days a week or 3 days a week at least, running can basically cause sarcopenia, and sarcopenia is losing muscle, and losing muscle mass is basically putting a lot of adipose tissue later. It also can cause back knee injuries. It can be very strenuous to your heart. So it is important that we take it like a sport, not like anybody cannot start running on day 1. So it has to be done gradually, and it has to be taken as a sport. And proper diet and strength conditioning with running is a must. Another myth is that women cannot lift weights and they will put on some manly-like muscles and everything. Actually, this is not wrong. This is absolutely wrong, because women do not have testosterone. And in fact, there is a study which is conducted on a group of women and group of men who train in the gym 5 days a week, 1 hour a day. And it was found that females, where the upper torso is concerned, females lose fat more rapidly than men. They good muscle mass, lean muscle mass, better than men in the upper torso. In the lower torso, like legs and lower body workouts, the male and female ratio was same. So the hormone milieu is important. And as we are again telling that weightlifting is very important for losing fat. It not only maintains the muscles, which are basically furnaces for burning calories which we eat, it also gives a good toned, lean look. And also it's an effective way to sustain the lost weight, because see, one cannot get accommodative, or the body cannot accommodate to a gym training session, because every time we are rotating the muscle mass, we can always progressive increase in the weight does not let the body adapt to a particular thing. This is not so when it comes to cardio exercise, because if you are doing something which is morning walk, and if you think that it is only the best thing to keep you fit, then scientifically you may not be absolutely right, because there is a study from New Zealand which says that if people have started doing a particular walk, let's say if you're walking say 40 minutes and you're just a newcomer and you started it on, the maximum benefits will be observed for the first 7 to 14 days. In 2 weeks time, the body adapts. So if you're going at 6 o'clock in the morning for everyday walk, your body starts adapting when you're sleeping, and you're at 5 o'clock only the body will start getting ready, hormonally. The cortisol levels will rise to that occasion of extra strain on your system. So if morning walk, the advantage is that it's very cheap. It does not require any equipment. It is enjoyable. You can walk with your friends and you feel great at the end of it. But if it has to be continuously giving you benefit, then the degree of difficulty has to increase. The pace has to increase. The distance has to increase. Now, as working professionals, you can devote 1 hour, 2 hours at the most per day to your health. You cannot go on walking for 4 hours like professional athletes do. Or you cannot go on jogging or walking for hours a day, every day, 5 days a week. So it's very difficult, to maintain that tempo and to maintain that advantage of usual regular walking. Now, there are always excuses. One of the excuses is that I am very busy, so I cannot work. I cannot do a workout. I cannot do exercise. I am very busy with my work. These are all excuses. And one of the excuses, the strange excuse which we find in so many of our clients and our people and our friends is, मैं gym start नहीं करता बस क्योंकि बंद करने के बाद ना मेरा weight double हो जाएगा. Actually, to a point, he's right. Because if you are continuing to eat the same calories and if you stop working out, you are going to gain weight. So that is going to happen. If you do a diet in a wrong way and you deplete your muscle mass and you develop sarcopenia, then definitely the yo-yoing effect and you're going to put on weight. But it is a lifestyle. It is not that I want to do it only for 3 months. I've been doing it for years together. Amul has been doing cycling for years together. Imran is working out for years. So it's a lifestyle. And it is a lifestyle because it gives you happiness. It makes you feel great. It gives you a feeling of euphoria. And then it makes you more jolly and happy when you are working also. In fact, if you find people who work out regularly, they will find that they are very successful in their professional lives also. And they take things in their stride. And metabolism is dynamic. Fitness is a dynamic concept. So even if a world level athlete, an Olympic athlete, stops training for a month or so, he decreases in his fitness level. So he has to again go back and start with the basics. So this is very common. And that is why it is respected. That is why fitness is respected, because you cannot buy it, you cannot borrow it, and you cannot maintain it without working out. It's hard work that keeps a person fit. And that is exactly the reason. Now, मला फक्त पोटावरचं फॅट कमी करायचं आहे, बाकी मी ठीक आहे, आणि मी फक्त ऍब्स करते. Not possible. Spot reduction is a myth. The fat loss is always overall. So if you're going to lose fat from your abdomen, you're definitely going to lose it from your face. So people are very concerned कि माझं फक्त पोटच कमी झालं पाहिजे, माझ्या फेसवरचं फॅट नको झालं, then that will make me look old. But unfortunately, fat loss is universal. And though if you do a particular kind of exercise, for example, if you're trying for abs, it can help you tone the muscle. It will definitely make your belly look fat, but you cannot lose fat only from abdomen by doing only abdominal exercise. So, and the most important thing is you're losing your precious time. You're basically, there is something called CNS fatigue. So if you're doing small exercises at the beginning of the process, then you end up getting fatigue and you don't end up doing important exercises. The most important exercises are compound exercises like squatting, like deadlifting, like pull-ups, bench press, the military press. These are compound exercises. They should be done at the start, at the beginning of the gym. And abs or spot reduction or spot toning, I would say, exercise should be done at the end of the session, because that time you're hormonally, mentally, and CNS wise fatigued. One important thing is you must have seen from the literature which Imran told that we are highly deficient. We are the culture which is highly deficient in protein. And we have been like this for centuries together. And our food, unfortunately, cannot give the protein we require. 1 gram per kg body weight is the least that you see in a billboard where Akshay Kumar is telling you now. There is an ad of Akshay Kumar who is telling you 1 gram protein chahiye. But that is the least. You have to go above 1 gram if you want to lose weight. If you are running a marathon, you need 1.5, 1.6 gram per kg body weight. So you need protein supplements. Now, if you are talking about me dal khate, me modalele, dane khate, vegetarian sources, paneer khate, but also you have to calculate the calories it is giving. You have to calculate the carbohydrates that it is giving. So if you are consuming say 60 or 70 grams of protein, and if you are consuming say 1500 calories in consuming that particular protein, then your whole purpose is lost, because the basic cardinal principle is the ultimate calorie expenditure and the calorie consumption you do, law of thermodynamics. So you have to stay within that calorie and you have to take protein. Now, whey protein is a product of milk. Milk is composed of whey and casein. Whey is rapidly absorbed and it stays in the body for rapid, and the deposition of whey protein, or it's basically myocyte consumption of whey protein, is rapid. Casein takes about 6 to 8 hours. So is whey protein synthetic? No, it is not. It is easily digestible. It has got good bioavailability, and you have to make sure that you buy it of a good company from a trusted source. It is not synthetic. It is not steroid, and in fact, some of the leading athletes of the world or sports enthusiasts of the world they consume whey. Whey is a multi-million-dollar industry itself. The second thing is diet is always eating less. No, eating less calorie deficit causes fat loss, but as we have said that after a certain degree of calorie deficit, you have to feed the person. A body is the smartest machine in the world. Extreme calorie deficit can be unhealthy. Kaहीच खाल्लं नाही, fasting केलं, walking केलं, now I've lost 20 kgs, but you will not be able to sustain it because ultimately one day a person will eat, and when he eats, there will be rebound weight gain. So balanced diet is the key. So not too much of calorie deficit, a calorie deficit, or let's say around 15 to 20%, or maybe roughly if you say around 400 to 500 calories. So if you have a calorie deficit of 500 in your diet, then you will lose half a kg of weight in 1 week's time. That is 3,500 calories, half a kg weight. 7,000 calories, 1 kg weight. So in 2 weeks, one should lose 1 kg of weight if you're doing a proper training and proper diet. This is the basic. Now, the initial phase is the weight loss is rapid because of loss of water. Later on, then the weight loss will stabilize and then one will hit a plateau. But diet does not mean eating less. Diet means eating smart, eating intelligently, looking at the labels, looking at how much carbohydrate you're taking. Also evaluating how much calories you are ingesting at every time you eat. Now, you can never outrun a bad diet. मैं आज खा लेता हूँ, कल मैं 10 किलोमीटर ज्यादा दौड़ जाऊँ. This never works. So don't run 10 kilometers more, run only 2 kilometers more, but eat less. So that makes it much better. You cannot eat and burn everything. And at the end of the day, you had a good morning walk session and you come back and you have mast idli and then chai with sugar. So you have forfeited all the advantages that you have taken, all the pains that you have taken of getting up in the morning and jogging or running and coming back and eating such a diet. So one important thing is one has to see what they eat. Now, proteins damage kidneys. Do you know that professional athletes can consume up to 3 to 3.5 gram per kg body weight of protein? Now, I am a urologist. I am telling you that if a person does not have an existing renal disease, then the protein cannot damage kidneys. In a normal person with a normal function, the kidneys will not be damaged. However, people with massive lean muscle mass, bodybuilders, they tend to have creatine which is slightly higher because the muscle mass is more. So the creatine clearance which is required is more and the body creatine is more. It basically we should always see that myth that protein damages kidney is absolutely wrong. In fact, why don't you say that carbohydrate damages the heart? We always say that fat damages the heart. It is wrong. Scientifically, now we know that it is the carbohydrate which damages that, not only fat. So one word about sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is basically very prevalent in our society. Sarcopenic obesity is something which is very prevalent. And that is why we see young men, lean young men whose weight is 60 grams coming with massive MIs. And when you see that they have very low muscle mass. So sarcopenia is degenerative loss of skeletal mass, and it can occur at young age if the protein consumption is very poor, but it is definitely a rule when a person goes beyond 50 or 40. So it's a multifactorial etiology. One of the most important is decrease in testosterone after the age of 40, decrease in physical activity, poor protein diet, smoking and alcohol. Now, basically what happens is sarcopenia will cause gait problems, falls and fractures, poor motor control. You will see that people who do workout, they while cycling, they will fall, but they'll just get up, they will just brush and they'll have some bruises here and there, but they will not break bones. But this will not happen with sarcopenia. So sarcopenia basically will cause loss of physical function. It will cause decrease in independence. And the problem with sarcopenia is you have to start when you are fit. You have to start when you are young. You have to start when the maximum benefit you will get when you start in your 40s and 50s. So it is very important that a lot of attention should be paid to your lean muscle mass and not later when the muscle mass is already lost. So this is a vicious cycle which we have said that muscle mass will basically cause decrease in BMR. And then the common statement की मी काहीच खात नाही, मी थोडं एकच पोळी खाते पण माझं वजनच कमी होतं, माझं वजनच वाढतं. Because you have lost the muscle mass, you reduce your BMR, which takes away 70% of this, which consumes basically 70% of the calories. So it's an emerging global phenomena, and basically it's very bad. The situation is very bad in our society. So some of the factors which we can modify is what? We have to take good protein-rich food. We have to go low on carbohydrates. We have to increase our physical activity. We have to limit our cardio activity. And if you're an avid runner, then you have to have high protein diet, high carbohydrate diet to digest that protein, and also weight train at least 3 days a week to maintain the muscle mass. Steady state cardio also causes weight loss. Steady state cardio also causes muscle loss. And also, if the person is on calorie deficit for a long time, muscle loss is a rule. So how much is basically, as we are saying again and again, it should be above 1 gram per kg body weight. We need vitamin D3 supplements. All of us who are in the program should do their vitamin D estimation. You'll be surprised and shocked to know that most of us, maybe 70 to 80% of us, will be deficient in vitamin D3 supplement, though we live in a sunny country. And structured balanced diet is basically important. Resistance training is important because it increases muscle strength. It is a dynamic calorie burning machine. It boosts BMR. It increases insulin sensitivity, and it prevents muscle loss. And particularly, it prevents muscle loss when you're trying to lose weight. So basically, you want to have a selective fat loss. And resistance training, like any other exercise, is a massive mood elevator. The secretions of endorphins make you really high. So my take-home message is to stay physically active, focus on balanced nutrition, and of all the points which I have told you, the most important point is balanced nutrition. Nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. Everything else is secondary and tertiary. Adequate proteins in diet ensure vitamin D3 levels, calcium levels. Add weight training. It's never too late to start. You can start from today. You can start by today by not going and using the lift and climbing up the stairs. Believe me, the non-exercise thermogenesis is the most important aspect in making you fit in day-to-day life. As anesthesiologists, it is very difficult for you. So, but you burn a lot of calories. In the OT, if the surgeon is good, you burn 100 calories an hour. If the surgeon is bad, you kind of spend around 400 calories an hour. So your job is very stressful. And particularly, unfortunately, many times the anesthesiologist cannot dictate who's at the other end of the table. So you are likely to lose weight only by looking that person operate. Just a funny English thing, but one must age gracefully, and one must take into account that all these factors will make a rapid impact, particularly in the later decades of the life. So better to start early, but even if you're 70, you can start today, start with small steps, and you will always get the benefit. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bole, for the busting lot of myths about diet and exercise. There are many questions, but we'll move ahead first with the next lecture. I request Dr. Saurabh to. Dr. Saurabh.
Yeah, so myths are busted, and now it's time for longevity. Longevity means long life, and as mother in Hindi movie says, "Jug jug jiyo mere lal." A long life may not be good enough, but a good life is said to be long enough. What if someone is eager to tell us a way of life combining both these things? Dr. Amul Kadu, please go ahead with your talk.
Thank you, Saurabh sir. Thank you. Now I am feeling like Rishabh Pant right now, because रोहित शर्मा और विराट कोहली की बैटिंग हो गई है और अभी मुझे पिच पे उतरना है और there are dignitaries and stalwarts like Gavaskar and Shane Warne are sitting in the audience in the commentary box. So now they will all be judging. So there is a high performance pressure. So let's start with the butterflies in the stomach. So I'll be talking about the role and types of physical activities. I'll just okay. So what is fitness? Now, when we talk about longevity, when we talk about fitness and all other things, first of all, we need to understand why we are discussing all these things. Nutrition, no doubt, plays a very important role, but fitness is also defined by your ability of your body to carry out various types of daily activities without feeling tired. So we are interested into our general fitness, not the not the general fitness, which we actually, the anesthetists are always looking for in a patient, that is related to health and well-being and the cardiac status, ECGs and all those things. This is a general fitness of any person, but we are talking about a special fitness quotient of a body which relates to a particular type of exercise. So what are the elements of fitness? So if you see, fitness is a multi-dimensional thing. It is just not being muscular. It's just not being able to run 42 kilometers. It's just not being to do all kind of yogasans. It's a mix of all things. It includes muscle strength. It includes the kind of body composition you have, how much you balance neuromuscular coordination you have, how much flexible you are, how much agile you are, and also how strong is your lungs, how strong is your heart. So all these all together give you a fit body and a fit fitness, what we talk about usually. So what are the different type of exercises that we usually talk about to achieve all these elements? So there are certain exercises certain exercises that we can do to get all these elements out of this fitness. There is muscle strengthening and resistance training. There are cardio exercises which are very famous. Then flexibility exercises like yoga, Pilates, and all those things. Then there comes the role of speed and agility in a person, which is required in certain kind of sports. Probably in routine life, we don't require this element of the fitness, that is speed and agility, that much. But if you are involved in a certain kind of recreational sport or a professional sport, then probably speed and agility also makes a lot of difference in your performance. And again, there is a new or a very popular fitness regime that is called as functional training or CrossFit. So we'll just go one by one through all these kind of exercises and see what benefits they offer and what are the pros and cons of doing these exercises and what are the ideal ways of doing these exercises. So to start with the exercise, muscle strengthening exercise program, this is also called as resistance training. And if I say this is the very important and unavoidable fitness regime which everybody should have in his or her fitness schedule, because it is usually neglected. When Sadashiv sir said, females don't want to go towards the weight section of the gym and they focus mainly on the cardio section. They try to avoid doing weight training. There is a myth in our society that कि जितना उम्र बढ़ता है उतना आप walk और garden में घूमो, थोड़ा बहुत हाथ घुमाओ. And जो gym है, that is mainly for the young people, and which is exactly the opposite. As you age, you need more and more of muscle strengthening exercises. So this has to be an integral part of everyone's fitness regimen. So as Sadashiv sir said, what are the benefits of resistance training? As you know, it increases muscle strength and it converts your body into a dynamic calorie burning machine. If you are trying to focus on weight loss, if you are trying to lose fat, then if you increase your muscle mass, it is going to boost your basal metabolic rate and it is going to give you more calorie burning as compared to what you were before. And in case of diabetics, probably Dikshit sir will agree that as you gain muscle, as you have strong muscles, you have a good carbohydrate tolerance, because muscles are responsible for consuming more and more glucose which is ingested or which you have in your meals. Again, you have heard from Sadashiv sir and Imran that you tend to lose muscle during your weight loss journey. You are always aiming at losing fat, but at the same time you lose muscle, which is the byproduct of the low calorie diets or bad diets. So if you are on a diet, if you are trying to lose weight, if you keep stimulating your musculoskeletal system with the help of resistance training, you prevent that muscle loss. And again, as everybody knows, if you go work out in a gym, it always give you a mood elevation. It is a very good de-stressing effect on your body. So again, I'll go back to the same demon of sarcopenia, which is the inevitable fate in everybody's life. As I'm an orthopedic surgeon, I usually see people reporting to OPD with knee pains, backaches. As soon as they start moving towards their fourth or fifth decade, they'll start having pains and aches in their body, in their backs, in their knees. It is because of this creeping demon that is called as sarcopenia. Because everybody will start losing their muscle mass naturally after certain age, and which starts usually around the fourth decade, that is third decade or fourth decade, and it peaks around the seventh decade. So that is the time when you are losing your muscle continuously if you are not doing anything, if you are not taking care of your diet, if you are not taking care of your exercise schedule, you tend to lose muscle mass on a regular basis, and it is around 1% of your muscle mass is lost in every year. So if you see a whole decade, you have lost almost 10% of your muscle mass, which is going to cause a lot of problems, because if you have less muscle over the years, it is going to reduce your basal metabolic rate. You will have less muscle strength, which is leading to falls and fractures and osteoporosis. And we usually see frail ladies with weak bones and have neck femur fractures because of falls. So this is what sarcopenia can cause. And as Sadashiv sir has said, it starts around fourth decade, peaks around seventh decade, and it is a natural part of aging process. But you have to fight with this disease. And there are certain modifiable lifestyle factors which you can take care of. The most important thing is lack of physical activity, lack of stimulus to the musculoskeletal system, which causes osteoporosis and sarcopenia. And nutrition, yes, protein, high protein diet, good supplements with vitamins, and a very properly balanced diet is very important to avoid this problem with sarcopenia. So all the anesthetists must be aware that when they see a lot of patients on their table with obese patients, a lot of fat in there, they have a central obesity and they don't have strength. This is because of the sarcopenic obesity, because they keep losing muscle and keep on depositing fat. So you will see huge ladies with very less muscular strength, and they tend to have a lot of comorbidities. So it's such a devastating effect sarcopenia can cause in people. So where you can change that, where you can fight with this demon, is by adding physical activity and especially resistance training to your fitness regime. So that is where muscle strength comes in, because if you have a good muscular strength, you will find your daily life, daily tasks become very easy because of the strong joints, strong bones, strong musculoskeletal system. So if you have a good muscle strength, you also have a very good posture. And as I have already said, if you have good muscles, you have boosted your BMR, you have good carbohydrate tolerance, you consume more calories by doing a lot of routine activity, that is what we call as non-exercise related activity thermogenesis, that is meat expenditure also increases if you have good muscle mass. So that ultimately results into a better body composition, which is the need of the hour. Because if you have a good body composition, it is going to help you excel in your life, and if you have a good fit and health. Then we come to the next part or next type of the exercise, which is the cardio exercise. Very commonly performed, most popular form. Everybody, whenever they think of being fit, they start with cardio. Start running on the treadmill, start running in the garden. They'll go on cycling, go on swimming. Some part of the cardio exercises usually is the first choice whenever you are thinking of a fit or starting a fitness regimen. So it is very acceptable kind of fitness. If somebody at the age of 50 starts going to gym, or at the age of like 65, 70, he thinks of going to gym, then probably his peers or his friends will start giving him advice that this is not good for you. But if he starts running or walking in the garden, he gets good compliments. So it is socially more acceptable. The cardio exercises are socially very acceptable. But cardio exercises, what are the cardio exercises? Any vigorous activity that increases heart rate and respiration and raises oxygen level. So rising of the blood flow throughout the body using large muscular groups of the body by repetitive and rhythmic movement is the cardio exercise. So it is basically a aerobic kind of exercise. So cardio is the which should actually progressively challenge your most vital internal organs like lungs, heart, and circulatory system, in turn improving their function and performance. And that is why cardio is very popular, because it improves many aspects of health, mental health, heart health, mood, sleep, and other things. So whenever during any activity, oxygen is heavily involved in the cellular reactions, and it produces energy to sustain that activity. That is where we call it as an endurance training or endurance exercise. And because of these cardiovascular exercises, the heart becomes more efficient and it improves its oxygen carrying capacity. And in turn, also lung become more effective and muscles are equipped with the use of aerobic kind of metabolism. So, but it is very important to know that to be considered as a cardiovascular exercise or an endurance exercise, the exercise must raise your heart rate and breathing rate into moderate to vigorous intensity level, which is at least 50% of your normal heart rate or a respiratory rate for at least 10 minutes. And that is why when you work out in a gym, it is not considered as cardio, because it is not sustained for a longer period of time. It is usually the short bouts of exercise where your heart rate increases, breathing increases, but it is very short bout. But whenever that intensity level is sustained for more than 10 minutes, then you can call that as a cardiovascular exercise. And so that is why lifting weights and what we call as core workouts are not considered as cardio unless you are a very advanced trainer. So that is what we need to understand. And these are very commonly used cardio exercises, which I have mentioned on this slide. This is what we usually do outdoors, like brisk walking, running, jogging, cycling, and some kind of functional training. So these are various exercises which you can do as a cardiovascular exercise. And the other side, we have exercises which you can do indoors, like treadmill, stepping machines, rowing machines, trainers, elliptical trainers, and stair climbers. So these are the types of the cardios which you are usually doing in the gym or in the outdoors. But if you go into deep classification of cardio exercises, the cardio exercises can be classified into high impact cardio exercises, low impact cardio exercises, and a no impact cardio exercises. So this is very important to understand which kind of cardio suits you, because in case of high impact cardio exercises, you will find that a high impact cardio is called as the exercise where both your feet are off the ground at the same point of time. That is like when you are running, when you are doing jumping jacks, when you are doing aerobics, certain types of training where your both feet are off the ground at the same time and you land on your both feet at the same time. So this is called as high impact exercises. Also, you can call as weight bearing exercises, where you are supporting your own body weight on your limbs against the force of gravity. So these are the high impact cardio exercises. So patients who are suffering from arthritis, patients who have backaches, patients who are suffering from any kind of body issues, they should avoid such high impact cardio exercises. So going on to the low impact cardio exercises, where at one point of time one foot is always on the ground, like walking, hiking, all these things. And these low impact cardio exercises are also weight bearing exercises, but they have a very low impact on your musculoskeletal system. So if you have, as I said, if you have arthritis, if you have backache, you can think of starting with a low impact cardio rather than going for a high impact cardio exercise. And you can always improve on the intensity of the exercises. Then come to no impact cardio exercises, where the body weight is supported or either it is reduced. The body weight or pull of the body weight is supported with a pull of gravity, like in swimming, where your body weight is supported or you are floating on the water, so your body weight is not on your musculoskeletal system. Second, bicycling or cycling, where the structure of the cycle is supporting your body weight. So these are the exercises which are ideal for patients who are suffering from severe knee arthritis, severe low backache, or lumbar disc collapse, or patients who have who are undergoing injury rehabilitation. So you have to choose what kind of cardio you want to do. So why we want to do cardio exercises? As we have already said, taking cardio as a weight loss tool is absolutely no. You have to decide why you want to do cardio and what are the advantages of cardio, and you have to utilize this exercise to its maximum by doing it properly. cardio is important because it uses large muscles of the body over a sustained period of time. And you can raise your heart rate, which results into a stronger cardiovascular system. It will improve your stamina and endurance by improving the function of heart, lungs, and circulatory system. And these are the benefits of doing cardio. Like as I am saying again, it improves heart health, it improves health of musculoskeletal system, it gives you mental strength, it results in improving metabolic rate, and again, it has been said that it improves your immunity as well. But there are certain hazards associated with cardio. So, if you are doing cardio as a sole kind of exercise, putting all your effort into only cardio, it can cause physical and mental exhaustion. It puts a lot of oxidative stress on your body. It causes a lot of muscle loss because if your diet is not proper, you are not stimulating your musculoskeletal system with proper strength training exercises, and you're just putting all your effort into cardio exercises. The oxidative stress will go on increasing and will cause more and more muscle loss. If you are overexerting your body, you are overtraining, it can cause joint and back injuries. And again, patients who are suffering from arthritis or backaches, they can deteriorate their joint state. And exhaustion can also cause some disturbances of sleep. If you want to do cardio, you have to do it wisely. You have to first assess what fitness level you are right now, and to get maximum benefit, you should only need to engage into cardio exercise only for 2 days a week max. You can do short bouts if you can't do 1.5 hour of cardio like running or walking. Even if you can do high intensity interval trainings in short bouts, which can give you as good result as longer sessions. And I would suggest to use cardio as an additional calorie burning machine and as a tool to improve your cardiovascular stamina, not as a weight loss tool. So assess your fitness level, start with short workouts, and then go on increasing your intensity over time. Then coming on to the next part of the fitness, which is the flexibility. So yoga, which is very popular since ages in India, and now it is famous all over the world, which are the set of exercises which what we call as asanas, with specific breathing techniques and meditation principles. But yoga is not like it is like a applied same kind of routine to everybody. So you have to have proper yoga workout depending on your individual goals, your individual needs. And it can also meditation and meditation principles and breathing techniques can also help you improve your mental well-being. So physically fit is equally important and at the same time mental wellness is also plays a very important role in your fitness. So if you are engaging into yoga, it is going to give you multiple benefits like improving flexibility. It will give you neuromuscular coordination and balance, and at the same time you can get a mental well-being at the same time. So it is very important that you understand why and how much you should engage into yoga, because yoga trains your muscles, ligaments by making them flexible. If your muscles are flexible, it will automatically improve the range of movement in your joints. And if you learn to hold asanas for quite a bit of time, you will improve balanced activity of opposite muscle groups, and this increased flexibility and strength can help you get rid of your backaches and knee pains. Your breathing improves, your mental health improves. So if you use yoga properly, you can improve overall health of a person. So coming on to speed and agility, which is a part of fitness elements in a person's fitness regime, but it is usually associated with sports. If you are engaged into certain kind of recreational sport like cricket or badminton or lawn tennis, then probability this is very important, because speed is defined as the ability to move body in one direction as fast as possible, while agility is the ability to accelerate, decelerate, stabilize, and quickly change directions with proper posture, which is required in sports like football, cricket, badminton. So those people who are involved into this kind of recreational sport, they need to focus on training which is focused on speed and agility, developing speed and agility. So if you don't do this, it can cause a lot of injuries. If you don't have proper training to develop speed and agility, you can land up with injuries when you go on to play cricket or badminton just out of the blue and without any proper training. You can land up with a lot of injuries. So if you are targeting speed and agility, you have to develop special fitness protocols to get the speed and agility which is required for your sport. Then another famous training technique is called as CrossFit or functional training. It is a very good technique to recruit multiple muscles at the same time, which in turn will improve your neuromuscular coordination. And again, in functional training, it gives you excellent awareness of joint position and teaches you how to move safely. So it becomes very easy for people to do their everyday movements because they have a better kinesthetic sense, kinesthetic awareness if they are engaging into functional training. And it in turn develops overall strength and balance. So now coming on to another part of the fitness, which is sports strength and conditioning. So when you are engaged into certain kind of sport, certain kind of game or cricket like football, you have to develop that strength, you have to develop that agility, that speed, which can improve your fitness in a particular sport. So whenever you are thinking of involving yourself into certain kind of sport, you have to focus on developing that strength and conditioning your body to suit that particular sport. So this training includes correct and appropriate training to improve physical performance in the particular sport. So this is a particular kind of fitness regime which focuses on using energy systems. We have three energy systems, that is lactate, phosphate, and carbohydrate. That is we call as three energy systems which are used in the body to fuel the activity. So using all these three energy sources effectively to improve your performance, that is where this conditioning comes in. So you have to train according to the skills required for the game. So that is where, so I won't go into details of this because it is for particular group of people who are involved into. It has to be planned according to their annual schedule. Like we have a lot of marathoners in our audience right now. So if you want to train a marathoner, you have to train them according to their requirements, their seasons, when they are going to run their next marathon, and you have to plan that exercise schedule accordingly. So that is why I am coming back to the again what role fitness plays or what role physical activity plays in the longevity. Because if you are involved into maintaining your fitness, you are ultimately going to improve your brain, your heart, your musculoskeletal health. You will gain better weight control. You will stay away from obesity because being involved into strength training or yoga and cardio, you are going to improve your metabolism. You are going to strengthen your immune system. Again, stress in nowadays in our practice, we usually face a lot of stress. And if you spend 1 or 1.5 hours in gym or running around in the garden, you can improve your stress de-stressing mechanism. Again, it improves your stamina. It gives you energy. You are more energetic to do your routine. And in all these benefits are going to improve longevity of a person after all. So now by giving you all these advices of involving into a lot of kind of exercises, my personal suggestion for an ideal exercise regimen would be to get involved into 3 to 4 days of muscle strengthening or resistance training, so that you get that appropriate muscle mass, you lose fat, you maintain your body's metabolic rate, and you keep maintaining your health. You can involve yourself into 1 or 2 days of cardio or endurance training like running, cycling, swimming, so that you train your heart and lungs to function at optimum levels. You can get involved into yoga for a day or two to improve your flexibility, because if you are involved into cardio exercises, muscle strengthening exercises, you also need to put some time to improve flexibility of your muscles and joints, and also the rest is equally important. So this is an ideal exercise regimen would be in my point of view. And if you are involved into certain kind of sport like running marathons or cricket or football or badminton, you have to train according to the game or according to the sport you play. So you have to design your plan as per your goals to make the maximum impact of exercises and to improve your health. In a summary, the aim for at least spending 30 minutes of physical activity every day, Either you go to gym or you go to Dikshit to spend 45 minutes of walking. So at least 35 minutes of physical activity every day should be the aim. And these everyday activities like climbing stairs or running from one ward to other or running from OT to the ward, you can use this opportunity to stay active. And I would suggest try to find time for some regular vigorous exercise for those extra benefits, for that extra fitness benefits that you can have. Design your fitness regimen as per your goal. See what do you want to achieve out of doing that 40-45 minutes of exercise, whether you want to gain weight, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to run marathon. Design your fitness regimen according to your goals. And it is a good idea to see your physician or a cardiologist before starting your exercise. So just don't jump into this fitness bandwagon and deteriorate your health. Just have a look. Just your physician have a look on your health, and then you can start the exercise program. Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thank you, Dr. Amul.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amul. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Amul Kadu. It was really nice to listen to all the three faculties. The chat box is flooded with so many compliments for all the three faculties. Thank you very much for enlightening us on all the details, and it was really fabulous. For all the three speakers were really fabulous. Let us go on, because this topic or this discussion will not end unless we go for interactive session, because there are many queries in the chat box. So we would like to discuss few of them. Dr. Anita, please, will we discuss the queries?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So there is a question that please tell the role of Surya Namaskars in the exercise. So who would like to take it?
Anyone can answer. All the invitees, Dr.
Yes.
Dikshit, Dr. Bajwa, Sangeeta ma'am, all the faculties, Avinash, anyone can answer.
मनीषा मैम, हमारे सॉरी सर, एक मिनट, हमारे एरिया में आजकल सूरज चढ़ता ही नहीं है, यहाँ पे फॉग रहती है, सूर्य नमस्कार करने का टाइम ही नहीं मिलता।
सर पूरब की तरफ देख के चालू कर देने का, सूरज दिखे ना दिखे।
Sadashiv sir, please.
Amul can answer this better.
So I would suggest Surya Namaskar is a very good kind of exercise to start with. It will give you benefits of a little benefit of strength training, at the same time a little benefit of flexibility training as well. But to start with, you can start with Surya Namaskar. It will give you a lot of benefits. But as they move on to a more vigorous kind of exercise, it is always better to move on to better exercises like strength training, adding some cardiovascular exercises at the same time. So relying only on Surya Namaskar will probably not give you maximum benefit of your potential that you have.
Yes, it will increase your strength and stamina. Definitely.
Surya Namaskar, they do like cardio, very fast Surya Namaskars or power yoga. So I mean, it is said that cardio exercise is done if you do a very fast Surya Namaskar.
Yes.
Is it so?
Yes, but it is about only few people who do it that way.
Okay.
Most of it usually do it in a very steady and static pace. And it is like yogasanas. There are a lot of kind of yogas. Yoga can certainly work on your strength as well, but you have to do very advanced kind of yoga to get the muscle strengthening benefit out of those yogasanas. But when you talk of a lot of people in general, the yogasanas that they do will only give them flexibility, not the strength that we desire. So flexibility, as far as the general population is concerned or the beginners are concerned, I would suggest doing yoga as a beginner or an intermediate yoga trainer will probably only get benefit of having a good balance, neuromuscular coordination and flexibility. Probably they won't be able to achieve muscular strength, a lot of muscular strength out of doing routine yogasanas, unless and until they progress into advanced yogic training.
I think I will slightly differ. Surya Namaskar, if it is done, say something like 45 or 50, it is a good combination of cardio as well as muscle strengthening as well as flexibility. So, and it doesn't require any instrument. You don't have to join a gym or go to any expert. So I think Surya Namaskar in Indian situation is one of the very good thing that we can do. But if you are only doing 8 or 10, that may not be sufficient. But you have to go for
That's what
more number.
it is a good exercise to start with, or for general population, probably it's a good way to start.
And you
It
can
is low
increase the
cardio,
number.
as you said, both feet touches the ground. So
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
See, Surya Namaskar were started with a particular aim in mind. So it is basically you don't require a particular equipment. You can do it without even having a carpet. आप जंगल में भी कर सकते हो, है ना? And basically it's a combination which has evolved over centuries of wisdom that this kind of flexibility exercises are important for a person's normal day-to-day activities. Now, when we do it over and over again, it will definitely help your cardiovascular system because you are doing work. And if you do it technically correct, it is very difficult to do Surya Namaskar technically correct, mind you. And if you're doing it technically correct, it will add that dimension of strength to it. And the most important part of doing Surya Namaskar, it has got a spiritual angle to it. You must always remember this, that is also very important. And while doing Surya Namaskar, if you go through a good training manual, you will always find that there's a lot of stress on breathing, when to breathe in, when to breathe out. So basically, we are doing and combining multiple benefits in a short segment, in a short capsule. But having said that, depends on your goal, what you want to do. If you want to look lean and if you want to lose 15 kgs of weight and you want to put on some lean muscle mass, then yoga ultimately will add adaptability. You cannot go on doing 50, 100 yogas and go on increasing the intensity. That also becomes boring over a period of time. So the combination of exercises is important. But having said that, if you can do Surya Namaskar well and good, that means your fitness level is one notch above others. And if you can do it in a prescribed time and do it rapidly, it will definitely add cardio and strength.
To add on to that, I would say any exercise done is better than doing nothing. So at least if you are doing
Better than doing nothing.
8-10 Surya Namaskars, and if you are doing nothing else, at least it will add some benefit to your health.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I have one question. Anybody of you can answer. I'm Dr. Sale from Pune.
Yes.
Basically, there are law in our culture. All the lectures are excellent. Excellent. Lot of myths are clear today. But there are a lot of people who are purely vegetarians, and class 1 protein and the amount of protein what is being advised, at least from 0.8 to 1.2 grams per kg, to match that when they take a vegetarian food and the number of calories given by the vegetarian food, as you rightly said, how to match that class 1 protein in the vegetarian from the veggie side? Is there any advice, specific advice? Even
shall I advise?
Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. Actually,
Yeah.
this thing occurred to me when I was growing up. I was being a vegetarian at that time. And, there was only 2 classes of high proteins. One was a fish protein and one was that, soya protein. So what I did at that time, the soybean dal, that pulse, that pulses, soybean pulses used to come to the market. Then soybean, other things are also, then there's I don't know how to pronounce it in Marathi, or tofu or something like that. Yeah.
It is tofu.
Yeah. Later on, the soya milk also came to the market. The soya protein is almost 44% that is claimed in the books of the Western literature, which was imbibed into our own literature. But having said that, also maybe not 44%, maybe 30% even. What we used to do, we used to get that wheat, the flour. When we get the flour of the wheat, we used to mix at least 2 kg of soya dal, soya pulse in at least 20 kg of wheat. So it used to get mixed up, and we used to get parathas in that, in the morning when we go to school or when we used to go to college. So that was a good amount of vegetarian protein coming into that. The soya protein is a very rich food, but the highest, the quality protein is the non-veg protein only. The vegetarian people, even that Javagal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, they were vegetarian when they were fast bowling for India. And upma, then dosa, then idli, everything they were having. But when they switched on to the non-veg diet, then the improvement of Javagal Srinath, it occurred like anything. He became a world-class bowler when he switched over to vegetarian diet. But again, I think your question is very relevant. In Indian context, we have got so many beliefs, faiths, religious, shortcomings. We don't switch over to non-veg proteins like that. But non-veg proteins are always superior to vegetarian proteins.
Whey protein is vegetarian protein.
Yeah,
whey protein is purely vegetarian protein, but it is derived from dairy. So if you're basically vegan, you cannot have it, but for vegetarian source. Second important source is paneer and of course soya bean. But the problem with paneer and soya bean is the high fat content which you consume. So it is supplementing your diet with a supplement, in my opinion, is the only way to rev up that protein requirement to 1 gram to 1.2 gram. If you look at the modern journals of sports physiology or nutrition, you will always find that the most important macronutrient is protein. And if you see the Indian diet, unfortunately, protein is the most neglected macronutrient in our diet. So there is no other option for a vegetarian person but to have some degree of whey as a supplement. If you're not, we are
Dr.
okay.
Bhole, Dr. Bhole, how to consume the whey protein? Can you tell us? Can you enlighten us?
Whey comes in different forms. It can come as raw whey also. Raw whey is very cheap and it is tasteless. So you can add it to milk, you can add it to water. It doesn't have any taste. You can add to fruit juice also and drink it. The whey which we consume is usually flavored. So coffee flavor or chocolate flavor, whatever flavor you like. And that you can mix directly with water and have it. If you want to have, you are also consuming some milk. In some diets, people like to consume milk. So you can make a milkshake out of it. Now, 1 scoop of protein, usually it is written 24 to 25 grams, but in reality, it gives you something like 20 to 22 grams. So 20 to 22 grams in 1 scoop of whey, which contains 4 grams of carbohydrates, is the best deal a vegetarian person can have. You're not taking 20 grams of dal. Well, for protein consuming dal, to take 20 to 22 grams of protein, you will require a large amount of dal. So the calories will go out of the window. And also dal also has carbohydrates. The second important aspect of vegetarian food is the amino acid sequence of vegetarian food protein. That is not very ideal. The most ideal amino acid sequence is of egg white. Second is fish or chicken, white meat. They are quality proteins. Why they are quality proteins? Because their amino acid profile is good. Their absorption is quite predictable. And their utilization by the muscular system is also quite dependable. However, this is not so with vegetarian. And now one word of caution: when you are consuming too much of soya is also phytoestrogen. So you must remember that. We had some clients who started having uterine bleeding and all because of consumption of a lot of amount of soya. So soya cannot be consumed on day-to-day basis on massive scale. So
Dr. Bhole, I've got one question here regarding a whey protein. Have we got any studies about the renal functions getting deteriorated after the long consumption of these whey proteins? Because there are many case reports actually.
There are anecdotal case reports.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because that's very important also.
Trial which I'm aware of. Imran, are you aware of any trial?
No, see, like those case studies which were done, mostly the patients were bodybuilders, amateur bodybuilders, or gym freak people. So what they do in the rural background or even in the urban background, many people are abusing steroids like anything to build that body. Yeah, and apart from that, there are a lot of over-the-counter protein supplements. They claim it to be the whey, but they have a lot of Ayurvedic and herbal preparations like ashwagandha, alfalfa, which are supposed to give them, acute testosterone boost. Or they are mixed with pre-mixed testosterone also. So that is the main cause. See, we have seen there are now studies going on. Like we use whey protein in ICU. Like all abort का जो parenteral enteral nutrition का जो आता है the longest the liquid calorie. So it has 25 grams of protein in 100 ml, and we are targeting 2 grams per kg of body weight to the patient's population. I literally try to give 100 grams of protein by whey only to the patients through rice tube from that about nutrition. So whey is basically safest protein. It is formulated in your Cerelac also, which is the infant feeding formula. It does have whey. Provided, as Amul sir has, Sadashiv sir has said that it should be bought from a very trusted source. And second thing, Bajwa sir, I really like your idea of adding soya flour in the wheat flour. I personally consume 100% soya flour parathas nowadays. Like
Yeah, great.
yeah, even 100 grams of soya flour and lot of spinach puree in that, it makes a delicious paratha. Just you need to up your skill of making those. Soya is if you are not intolerant, then it is wonderful source of vegetarian
And
protein source.
one more additional point about this protein consumption, it gives you an amazing sense of satiety. So if you have a large dosa and after 2 hours you again start feeling hungry, then you have 1 cup of tea, then with that sugar, then again your insulin spikes up, and then again you have hunger pangs. So hunger pangs occur because the insulin is not at a steady level.
What about using nachni along with soya nachni flour?
Protein does, and what nachni is also again a very good source. No, in fact, nachni is as good as soya, though it does not give the same amount of protein that
So how
soya
long
does.
can we
but
take
it is-
whey protein?
Ma'am,
As
I have
long
been
as
taking
you are
for
having
last
your food.
13 years now. It is food.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Sir.
I am taking it for 30.
The
And we are
problem with whey is we are unnecessarily afraid of taking whey. When we feed Cerelac and Nan2 formulas to our infants, we never see what is in that. We are feeding whey to them. So it is absolutely safe because it's a milk protein. It is not a synthetic protein. It is not created by some kind of chemical formula. It is just a milk protein which is segregated after getting our what we call as cottage cheese or paneer. So it is absolutely safe. It's all vegetarian, and unless and until it is adulterated, you are not taking it from a proper source. And if you don't mix it with some kind of magic formulas to gain weight and build a very unrealistic body, till that time it is very safe. If you are relying only on whey protein, it is probably the safest food supplement available. And everybody, every age can take it very safely without any side effects.
Dr. Kadu, just have a myth here, very important, in this part of North India. What they say whenever we are talking about the whey protein, the gyms or in the, in the running circles or wherever we are doing the sports activities, every time somebody goes to Dubai, they always ask that the Dubai whey protein is the far superior, far more pure, because there are chances that in Indian culture, Indian setup, the things are always adulterated. And I don't know, this is true also. So we have to get an order from Dubai. I think that has to be changed somehow. These things, whey protein from India adulterated, Dubai superior. These things will always cause some kind of chaos and confusion in the mind of the people who are going to gyms and who are in the sports activities. The very common
दुबई का तो
perception.
हर चीज में वैसा ही है. गोल्ड भी दुबई का ही अच्छा माना जाता है.
बिल्कुल.
So, सब चीज when you talk about any food available in India,
Food is adulterated. Second thing is what is written on the label is changed. There are manipulation occurring at multiple levels. So you are absolutely right. Whenever any of your friend goes outside India, particularly to certain countries in Europe or in Dubai or in US, you must ask them. अगर उन्होंने पूछा मैं तेरे लिए क्या लाऊं तो उसको बोलना
whey protein. बस.
बाकी सब यहाँ मिलता है.
Again the fear of getting a bad whey protein. It is not because whey protein will not be contaminated with some kind of जैसे steroid डाल दिया या कुछ और डाल दिया. Usually it's not the case. whey protein is usually the whey protein, but the problem is with the amount of protein which it delivers, because
Exactly.
it is adulterated by reducing the volume of
Volume.
protein. Like
Yes.
they commit 24 grams of protein in one scoop, but it doesn't deliver. It is usually the 12 gram, and rest of it is filler. So
The
that is
rest of
where
it
that
is milk
Dubai
powder.
wala thing is different. You
The
get
rest of it is
24 out
milk
of 24 karat gold. वैसे you get 24 grams in a 24 gram scoop.
I will only like to say one thing, that if
Yes,
you
sir.
eat proteins and if you don't take other food items which are required, balanced diet, then these proteins also would be used for calories.
Yeah.
Yes.
It may not be used
Yes,
for
sir.
your muscle strengthening.
Yes.
And the
Yes. Yes.
and
Absolutely.
second thing that is very important, because in the audience, though people are asking for whey protein and all that, very few of them are actually into fitness training in that sense. They want to be fit. So it's a good idea to get everything from your food that you consume rather than buying things from market.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir.
Absolutely
What
right.
is the whey
The
isolate?
protein.
What is the whey
Hello.
isolate?
Whey isolate, see, I'll tell you about why whey isolate. Basically, milk, cow's milk is for calves, not for human babies. So it has got many other things which are not good for human health. So the technology enables us to split all the bad things away and isolate only the important things like whey and casein. Now you go one step further by basically purifying this whey, which is called whey isolate. The good part of whey. Again, the bad part of whey is also cut off. So this is whey isolate. And this is the most expensive food supplement in the world. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. The problem is that whey isolate, the advantages are the carbohydrate is much lower. If you take whey isolate, you can get zero carb protein also. But then you have to be use it with a lot of caution, because whatever is more costly in the market is the most likely to be copied or adulterated. So it's important. And somebody was commenting that Amazon is a good place to buy protein. Amazon is a platform for multiple vendors to sell their products. There will always be dark sheep in those vendors,
Yeah.
which will give half whey and half milk powder. What we did is we got whey powders from different sources, from different companies. We opened them up and we sent them to the labs. This is what we did 3 years back. Amul, Imran, हम लोग सबने एक-एक खोल के एक-एक scoop बेच दिया उसमें. And we were shocked to know that hardly less than 10% boxes carried actual whey, and the quantification was around 20-22 grams. So there is a gray area here, definitely. And like Dr. Dikshit said, if you can supplement the amount of protein you need in your food, that is good, provided you stay in that calorie bracket. The holy grail is the calorie bracket. And in that, if you can manage 1.2 to 1.5 gram of natural food, like if you're eating fish in the morning, then you're eating 3x, 4x in the afternoon, then you're fine. But that is not possible with our lifestyle. That is not possible. You cannot eat 4 eggs, fish and chicken all the time. Apna food is different. So उसमें supplement करने को यही है कि आप आपका carbohydrate component कम रखो और whey या whey isolate. This is a practical solution. But if
This
you can do
protein
it with better.
This protein subject is non-ending. We'll discuss on the other issues also. The people are asking. So
Yes, Avinash, you are right.
Yeah. So from 3 lectures, it is concluded that your diet and exercise, your diet and exercise should be tailor-made, and it should not be like taking branded, or any formula is not suitable to you. So how this diet and exercise should be tailored, how we should made for us, how to make the schedule according to our need.
Sir, that is what
How to tailor-made it.
Imran told in
It
the
require
first
training
lecture,
also, or
that
from
we have to
expert
take
trainers.
We have to take history. We have to see your social and baki background, what kind of social life you lead. First of all, we ask people to basically chart their food. Now, if you are the person who goes to a party twice a week, and I tell you, नहीं घर पे ही रहो, बाहर का कुछ नहीं खाना, so you will not be able to sustain this lifestyle for a long time. So what we need to do is we have to first make it patient or client friendly, something which he can easily follow it. That is the first rule. If you cannot follow it, अगर उसमें 19-20 थोड़ा कम ज़्यादा भी है, but if you are consistent with that approach, then you get better benefits. If I give you the most ideal diet in the world and you cannot follow it for more than 2 weeks, it's a loss. So we have to look into your sports activity, your background, how much work you are doing throughout the day, आपका physical activity factor, how much it is there, how much fat percentage is there, what is your lean muscle mass, all these can be calculated. And then that diet is customized to a particular person. One size never fits all when it comes to that.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, Dikshit sir, before you leave, I have a question for you. We had listened to Dr. Imran about quantified food, and whatever Dikshit diet is advised by you is exactly diversely opposite. So can you please suggest, can you please enlighten us about that?
I think I was going to write a message that if you look at all these sessions, then there are three messages. One message is that health and fitness is a very individualized thing. When it is an individualized thing, you need an expert to guide you. Second thing is your food is not good enough to give you enough nutrients, so you have to buy food supplements. Third thing, that cardio is not a good thing. Good thing in the sense it is not enough. You have to go for weight training. So you have to join a gym. So these are, I think, possibly for a general common man. I'm not saying about people into fitness, people who want to become Ironman, people who want to become Satarashri or something like that. For most of us who are above 40 and above 40, we want to be fit. Our heart should be good. We should be able to do all the activities very nicely. So these three are possibly the greatest myths that are there as of now in this world. So what you asked about fortified foods and all that. So if you can eat good food, nutritious food in your diet, that is possibly the best thing that you can do. And fortunately, most of the things that Dr. Whey said about, they also suggest that breakfast is not required. They also say that 2 or 3 meals is good enough. That's what precisely we are saying. Only thing is, somebody asked a bumblebee. Somebody said a bumblebee cannot fly. Bumblebee should not be able to fly, but still it flies because it doesn't understand the rules of thermodynamics or this, because its structure is such that it cannot fly. Thing is, the body doesn't follow thermodynamics. Body, that calories in, calories out concept has gone out of the practice long back. Thing is, so if you can get the calories and proteins and everything from your food, that is the best thing that can happen to you. That is my suggestion. There can be, of course, for fitness people like Ironman, for somebody who wants to drive a cycle for 200 kilometers every day or something like that, definitely there would be a requirement of trainers, the requirement of fitness experts and dietitians. But for general people who want to be fit, they should always aim that they should be independent. Though individualized things are there, there are certain rules which are general, common for all. So they should follow those rules. They should get the nutrients from their food. That's very important. They should do the exercise, which doesn't require them to go to anybody to buy any machines. Simple jor and baitak, that is our Indian exercise, is also good enough for strengthening your muscles. So we should focus more and more on that, because of course I'm into a campaign, so I speak like this. So I think I answered your question, Dr. Katikar madam.
Yes.
So thank you very much. I liked and appreciate the lectures of Dr. Whey, Dr. Kadu and Dr. Imran. They have nicely presented everything. So I think the only difference is possibly a campaign mode and an individualized mode. That's the only difference between what we are saying. So thank you very much, Dr. Avinash and all. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I will take your leave.
Fitness is different and sports is different. Sports should be played by the fit person. So both are different, sports and fitness. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bhole, sir, please continue. Dr. Bhole, please continue.
There is one question. Being a urologist, I could not avoid the temptation. So what is the ideal intake, water intake for the day? One of the most difficult question to answer is the ideal water intake of the day. Now, if you look into urology textbook by Campbell, the thing which is recommended is around 1.8 to 2 liters for women and around 2.5 liters for male. That is the first wrong statement, the only wrong statement written in the textbook. Campbell is like Bible of urology, because again, to be customized to a particular person. Now, if Dr. Avinash Bhosle trains 10 kilometers every day and he runs 21 kilometers on a weekend, his water intake and my water intake cannot be same, isn't it? If he runs in Satara and I am into Nagpur in March, things are entirely different. So the ideal way to judge how much you are hydrated is the color of the urine. So if the color of urine is water, that means you have, so it might be 2 liters, it might be 5 liters. Some people need 6 liters also. Who do endurance training, they need 6 liters of water. So always see that the color of urine should be clear, number one. And the morning urine should be little bit neglected because we sleep for 7 hours and that time we don't get hydrated. And that stone formation in the kidney of the urine, that is exactly the reason why we are dehydrated, because we are dehydrated. So that is one question which I wanted to respond.
Thirst is the reliable indicator. When you have thirst, you drink it. That is the
thirst. Thirst is
if you are drinking water as a
you should pass a clear urine. That is one
we should drink before you feel thirsty when you are exercising.
Yes. I agree with that. Dr. Bole, agree with that.
By the time you develop the thirst center in hypothalamus stimulated, by that time your tissues are already dehydrated.
Yes.
So your sports performance is already down. And what you are doing is now are basically feeding the thirsty tissues. On the other hand, when you anticipate that you are going to be thirsty after half an hour, if you drink water half an hour before, then your tissues will not go to that and your performance of your sport will be better.
Yes, I agree. Dr. Bole, this is a very important part when we are doing a long running.
Most of this, but most of the time this causes water intoxication because you stay ahead of your thirst.
No, sir. Dr.
Water
Bhosle,
intoxication never
sir.
No,
It's a dehydration of the long running. When you are doing a long running, I think for every 5 to 6 kilometers, you require the thirst quenching center, even if you are not thirsty, because that will at least enable your electrolyte imbalance, balance, as well as your catecholamines, secretion for the next part of the run. So 5 to 6 kilometers is the ideal way. It has been proven in the studies also. After 5-6 kilometers, you always take, a fluid intake that will make you run the long marathon also. That's why at every 5 kilometers there is a hydration station is there in the long marathon that you always come to know.
I'll tell you something very interesting which you might not know. So people like Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, and Saurav Ganguly, when this try was playing for India, what they did was they basically calculated the amount of fluid they used to lose per hour. That they calculated first during their training sessions. So if he's playing a test match, he will lose different amount of fluid. If he's playing a one day, different amount of fluid. Then they exactly calculated the electrolyte loss from their particular sweat. So now if Tendulkar is batting for 2 hours in a one day, they knew exactly that he's going to lose 580 cc's of fluid. He's going to lose this much amount of salt and this much amount of potassium. And that is why they always used to have bottles जिनको उनका नाम लिखा रहता था. Dravid लिखा रहता. Dravid used to drink only from his own bottle. This is taking science for better sports performance.
I think
it is so specific.
I think next marathon, half marathon, I will be running in Satara with Dr. Bhosle. We will running together with a bottle name written as BB, Bhosle and Bajwa. We will be running a half marathon or marathon together, and all the electrolytes, at least that will set an example how to run how to keep the electrolyte balance also during running, and also during the workouts also. I think it's all the three lectures, they were excellent. I think this is one of the best beginning in the ISA Fit campaign of our country. And I request Dr. Manisha Katikar to upload not on the YouTube, rather on the website of ISA, because this is very important part, and it will add, a glamour to the ISA Fit campaign also. That's my request to you, madam.
Sure.
Yes,
sure.
Amul, you want to say something?
Sir,
Amul?
I just wanted to add
Yes.
something.
That should be the last comment because
Like,
it is 9:30 already. That should be the last comment from Dr. Kadu, and then
Yes,
we will.
it has suddenly become like the exercise schedule has to be individualized. So it is not, we are not talking about people who are involved into sports only. It is about general fitness.
Yes.
I am an orthopedic surgeon. When a patient with knee pain come to me, I send them to physiotherapy to strengthen their knee muscle to relieve their pain. If somebody from backache, I send them to physiotherapy to strengthen their back muscle. Ultimately, you need strong muscles to stay fit. And it is not that we need gym to strengthen your muscles. You can do few push-ups, few pull-ups, few squats at home, and you can train your muscles. So it is very important that you focus on muscles because you are losing it and you don't know that. So that is what I wanted to add, and that is where the whole exercise thing is. Okay. So that is all from my side. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I think we will have to conduct another session in this coming 3 to 4 months because the one session is really not sufficient. And as Dr. Bajwa said correctly, definitely we will upload it on the National ISA website. We'll request our honorary secretary to upload it. It was really an excellent session. We will again meet maybe in 4 to 5 months time. So again, we will have to work for that. Our next meet with the same team. Dr. Samir, please.
Thank you, Manisha madam. It was an excellent and exhaustive session from all the three faculties today, and it was our honor to have Dr. Bajwa sir, who is the National Coordinator for Fit Anaesthesiologists Campaign from the ISA National. Also, we are lucky to have Dr. Jagannath Dikshit, a very well-known figure in controlling diabetes and about his world famous advice about Dikshit diet. Dr. Anjali Bura is also there with us, who is our vice president, and all the team members, executive team members of Maharashtra State Chapter. There are lot many sports enthusiasts and fitness enthusiasts who are non-anesthesiologists also have joined this interesting session on this Zoom platform, as well as on the YouTube. I have monitored around 100 capacity of Zoom was full, and almost 90 to 100 were watching continuously on YouTube also. It's really a great thing to have this fitness session from our team we had. So I am very much thankful to all the three faculties, Dr. Imran, Dr. Bhole, Dr. Amul, for presenting so nicely about this. And I have to mention Dr. Saurabh Berde from Nagpur, who is our Maharashtra State Chapter's coordinator for Fit Anaesthesiologists Campaign. So it's he has gathered this team from Nagpur, and they are doing really excellent work. And most of us have so many questions. I know, as Manisha madam has said, this is not going to end in 1.5 hour or 2 hours session, but we have to restrict to some time. We are already 2.5 hours into this meeting. So I thank all and each and everyone of who has joined today for this excellent talk. We had a lot of insights about diet, exercise, fitness, and many myths are busted in this session. So we can continue to discuss with the help of Saurabh. We may have access to these Imran sir, Bhole sir, and Amul sir for more advice. Or Dr. Jagannath Dikshit, he has already given his numbers. Dr. Bajwa will be with us. We can have discussion about further individualized discussion. So I think this is the time to conclude this meeting for today, and may be looking forward for some more fitness sessions in the future. Thank you everyone for joining in large number and your enthusiastic question. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you. Hope to see
Good
you.
night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night, sir.
Avinash,
Yes,
Avinash
yes.
sir, stop recording. Recording
Yes.
stop.
Recording stop kara, mag we can have some formal chat. If
1 minute. Please